Today, I'm going to be talking about deity practice in Tibetan Buddhism. First of all, the Buddha is in this room, the room that you were in as you were watching this teaching. The Buddha is here in the room that I am in right now. You are the Buddha. You are completely enlightened with all the qualities of an enlightened being. However, for those not easily convinced, there is the Vajrayana path with its multitude of deities, some extremely complicated, of different colors, different numbers of hands and hand implements, various appearances, wrathful, semi-wrathful, peaceful, and so forth. But if you are easily convinced, then Vajrayana is totally unnecessary, because the point of practicing Vajrayana is to realize that you are the Buddha. So there are three paths in Buddhism. The first one is the foundation vehicle. Sometimes it's referred to as Hinayana. And on the foundation vehicle, we work on pacifying our minds, taming our minds, and learning the difference between virtuous and non-virtuous actions, and of course, engaging in virtuous actions. But it is very much focused on taming your mind and your behavior. In the Mahayana, there is the added motivation of not only wanting to attain, but wanting to do it with the motivation of bodhicitta, wanting to achieve it so that you can lead all beings to enlightenment. And this is a quicker path than the foundation vehicle, but the foundation vehicle is called that because this is what the Mahayana is built on. And then from the Mahayana, which is the motivation to attain enlightenment for all beings, the benefit of all beings, and to lead all beings to the same place, we have the Vajrayana, which is a more powerful path, but it is really a branch of the Mahayana. The Vajrayana gets more complicated, though, because it has all these different deities in it that I have discussed. And you could say we have Buddha nature, but when we get to Vajrayana, we also have the nature of the enlightened being that we are practicing. So if we are practicing, let's say, Chenrezi, we have Chenrezi nature. And Chenrezi is a fully enlightened being that manifests as a bodhisattva. And he has 4 arms, 4 hands. He's white in color, has peaceful adornments, and so forth. So these are the 3 paths. And today I am going to be talking about the Vajrayana deity practices that are found in Tibetan Buddhism. The goal in the foundation level and the Mahayana level is to become a completely enlightened Buddha, attain Buddhahood. Now, on the Vajrayana level, the goal is slightly different. The goal is to attain the state of Vajradhara. We did the Mahamudra lineage supplication, and the supplication begins with Vajradhara, Dorje Chang in Tibetan, and it ends with, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. The difference is that the historical Buddha, he was confused and he traveled the path and attained enlightenment. Vajradhara has never been confused. Vajradhara is primordial mind that has never been confused. It never had to travel the path. So this is the goal of the Vajrayana, to attain the state of the primordial Buddha. You could also refer to Vajradhara as the Dharmakaya Buddha. This is from the Karmapa's website. Vajradhara is the primordial Buddha, the Dharmakaya Buddha. Now, Vajradhara is depicted as a dark blue Buddha in color, and he expresses the quintessence of Buddhahood itself. Again, from the website, quote, Vajradhara represents the essence of the historical Buddha's realization of enlightenment. So this is an important distinction here. Yesterday, I passed out a printout that listed the 42 peaceful deities that we encounter in the Bardo. And I will email each of you a copy of this if you would like. I'm going to bring it up here. And I'm going to go over this briefly because this is important to understand these Vajrayana deities that we practice. Now, the Bardo teachings come from Padmasambhava, and this would mean that they come from the Nyingma tradition. So the Nyingma tradition, the primordial Buddha is Samantabhadra. So substitute Vajradhara here. So at the top, you might say this would be like looking at your ancestors. At the top is Vajradhara or Samantabhadra, and then his consort, Samantabhadri. Us Kagyus use Prajnaparamita. And then below that, you might say the expression of Dorje Chang, Vajradhara, are the 5 Buddhas that are head of the 5 Buddha families: Vairochana, Akshobhya, Ratnasambhava, Amitabha, and Amoga Siddhi. And then they all have consorts. I'm not going to go into them. And then from these Buddha families, you have 8 bodhisattvas. Now, there are many more bodhisattvas, but these 8 bodhisattvas are the ones that are in the Tashi prayer that we chant from time to time. And then along with them are the 8 female bodhisattvas. And in the Tashi prayer, these are described as the 8 offering goddesses, very same ones that are in the Tashi prayer. The rest of these don't have to go into, but I guess I'll point this out. There are also 4 male gatekeepers and 4 female gatekeepers. You could call them protectors. I will send this out to all of you. The point being that all the deities that we practice in Vajrayana come from Dorje Chang. They all come from the Dharmakaya. It's not random at all. They're just expressing different qualities of the Dharmakaya. So to give a little perspective to the Dharmakaya, you achieve that for your own benefit because other beings are not aware of you and your Dharmakaya realization, you might say. And so for the benefit of other beings, an enlightened being will emanate a form body. And the 2 form bodies are the Samogikaya and the Nirmanakaya. To go back and define these different bodies a little bit better, here is a definition of Dharmakaya. It is the body of truth. It is wisdom beyond any reference point. It's unoriginated. It is primordial mind. It's devoid of content. It is emptiness, space, limitless potential. But this is why it can't be perceived by other beings, but you experience it directly. The Samogikaya is a form body. Again, it depends on how it is defined, but it is usually talked about as being only bodhisattvas are able to see directly the Samogikaya body. Here is a definition. The Samogikaya is the visionary and communicative aspect of Dharmakaya. It's referred to when it's translated as the enjoyment body. And now the Dharmakaya is the actual physical body. And there are different aspects to this. First of all, the Dharmakaya is envisioned as the manifestation of enlightenment, with the emphasis on manifestation. And it manifests in an infinite variety of forms and ways in the physical world. So physical is important, manifestation is important, and physical is important. So here are three ways that the Dharmakaya manifests in the physical realm. Number one, the manifestation of a completely realized Buddha, such as Shakyamuni, who was born into the world and teaches in it. The next aspect is a seemingly ordinary being who was blessed with special capacity to benefit others, such as a Tulku, His Holiness Karmapa, who was recognized as being the rebirth of an extraordinary individual. So there are a lot of Tulkus in Tibetan Buddhism. And then the third is, through a certain degree of enlightenment, works to benefit and inspire others through various arts, crafts, and sciences. It is their enlightened impulse that causes this. And here's a quote from Kalu Rinpoche, the previous Kalu Rinpoche. In fact, this comes from the book, The Dharma. The Dharmakaya is a spontaneous expression, just as light radiates spontaneously from the sun, without the sun issuing directives or giving any conscious thought to the matter. The sun is, and it radiates. So that's the Dharmakaya. So this is just the beginning of this talk. Now, for the foundation level and the Mahayana level, we take refuge in the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. On the Vajrayana level, we take refuge in the three jewels and the three roots. The three roots are the Guru. The second root is the Yidam, which is the deity that we are practicing. The third is the Dharma protectors. Us Kagyus have Mahakala, for instance, as a Dharma protector. Gyalwang Karmapa is our root guru. This is what Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche always taught. And the guru is the source of the other two roots. So from Karmapa, then come the Yidam and the Dharma protectors. So the guru is the root of blessings. This is an important point. So we have these three roots. The guru is the root of blessing. This is where blessings come from. And he's also, you might say, the root of the other two roots. The Yidam then is the root of spiritual attainment. We visualize ourselves as the Yidam, and there are many, many different Yidams in Tibetan Buddhism. The word Yidam literally means that which binds the mind. That we make this commitment to the Yidam. We visualize ourselves as a Yidam, or sometimes there's a front visualization. We chant the Pecha and we say the mantra. So we are, might say, binding our mind. The reason why the Yidam is the root of spiritual attainment is by doing these things, we actually start getting direct experience. And that's where spiritual attainment comes from, experience. It's something that you cannot get from reading about it or hearing about it. And then the Dharma protectors are the root of Buddha activity. These Dharma protectors, Mahakala, for instance, is considered the wrathful aspect of compassion. That Mahakala is a different form of Chenrezi. I posted on Facebook a picture of Chenrezig, a Thangka painting. In this Thangka painting on the bottom, there is a picture of Mahakala on one side, and on the other side is Manjushri, wisdom. So this is an important point to realize, that these Dharma protectors protect us practitioners from deceptions and obstacles. And usually their activity is wrathful, but this is compassionate, wrathful action. Besides wrathful action, they can perform the other of the four karmas, which is a peaceful, enriching, magnetizing. The fourth is destroying. So they protect the integrity of the teachings, the integrity of the practice, and they protect us from our own self-deceptions and obstacles, inner obstacles, as well as outer obstacles. Now, the three roots are compared to a wish-fulfilling jewel. And in this case, what this means is that they fulfill all our wishes to be free of suffering, and that they lead us to enlightenment, which is the only way to achieve this freedom from suffering. And so these three roots are only found on the Vajrayana path. And now it's important to remember also that the deity you are practicing, or if you're in a group practice that we all are practicing, is in essence the body, speech, and mind of the guru. There are four qualities that lead to success of the practitioner in the practices that he or she is doing. The first one is devotion to the guru. Devotion is tremendous admiration and wanting to be like the guru. Khenpo Karta Rinpoche had tremendous devotion for Gyalwang Karmapa. And basically what that meant was that the Karmapa wanted something to be done, Rinpoche would do it. It was like Karmapa's wish, Rinpoche would act on it like it was an order. The Karmapa wished him to come to this country and found a monastery for His Holiness, and Rinpoche did it. He didn't ask, how do I do it? Or I don't think I can do it. He didn't say, well, then you've got to give me some money so I can accomplish this. He just packed up his bags and left and did it. So it takes tremendous devotion to be able to utilize your root guru to the full potential that is there. The second quality is trust that is free of doubt. So trust in the outer guru, trust in the practice, and also trust in your inner guru. That is having confidence and trust in your own inherent Buddha nature, or that you have the inherent qualities of the deity that you are practicing. It's easy to think, well, I'm going to get these qualities from the deity that I'm practicing. But in actuality, we are just uncovering those qualities, that they've always been there. The next point is a faith. And I am separating trust from faith here, but they're really just, you might say, two sides of the same coin. But so I'm separating this for purposes of a deeper understanding. And you might say, just because logically and conceptually this can be done. So there are three types of faith. One is longing faith, and this is having an interest, wanting to know more, and perhaps wanting to be like somebody that you know, a respected guru, for instance. The second is trusting faith, that you have gotten to know a little bit about the guru you've attended, teachings of his or hers. You maybe have read books, and for whatever reason, you are trusting a little bit more and begin to open up to the teachings that the guru is giving. You could say you let your guard down just a little bit. So this leads to the third one, which is lucid faith or experience, direct experience. And this, of course, is the strongest type of faith, where our experience is so direct and so strong that you have a much deeper understanding of who the guru is, and your inner guru, you might say, kicks in. The next of these qualities is one-pointed concentration, that you are able to have a clear visualization, or your visualization improves. Maybe that's a better way to put it. Your visualization improves. Your mind is steadier. It doesn't jump around as much as it did when you began. One-pointed concentration, it is both mindful, but also it has awareness. And I like this analogy. Mindfulness is paying attention to the trees. Awareness is seeing the forest. And so we're both aware of the trees, but we are aware of the bigger picture as well, so that these trees are part of the forest. So this is one-pointed concentration. And the last is secrecy. It's called secret mantra. So don't talk about your experiences when you're doing these practices with other people other than lamas. If you do talk about your experiences and they are experiences that you consider positive, and another person might consider positive, another person might feel, oh, I've not had that experience. There must be something wrong with my practice, and develop wrong view. Or it could easily be that we become arrogant about our experiences. Usually this kind of speech is tainted with a certain level of pride. And this pride can become a powerful obstacle. So this is why Tantra is called sacred mantra. And mantra means protection of the mind. So we need to guard it like a precious treasure. The advice is be a great yogi inward and a subdued person outwardly. The first question is that you talked about encountering these deities in the bardo, and that sounds like we're not just talking about the interval between death and rebirth. My answer is you're absolutely correct. There are different bardos that we can experience while we are waking, and one of them is while we are meditating. The reason why I brought up these deities is because of trying to get some perspective on how all these different deities relate to each other. They give you a background. You could say a roadmap, as opposed to we got New York City, we got Cleveland, we have Ridgeland, Wisconsin, and how do they lie on the map? So that's why I brought this up. And so we can realize we have these Samogikaya deities, and these are the ones that we practice that become yidams. But the source is from Vajradhara or Dorje Chang. And when we are practicing Vajrayana, we want to relate to Galwan Karmapa as Vajradhara. Tai Situ Rinpoche frequently is referred to as Vajradhara Tai Situ Rinpoche. This is part of devotion to these great gurus, and this is what leads us to the state of Vajradhara most quickly.